Today, we're diving into something that can totally transform how you read the Bible. We're going to move beyond just reading the words on a page and into actually discovering the wonder that's hidden right there in the text. It's a system, a guide for much deeper, more meaningful engagement.
So let me ask you this. Does this ever happen to you? You sit down, you open your Bible, you read a chapter, and then you walk away feeling, well, kind of empty. Like you just scanned a list of words, but nothing really clicked. If that's you, trust me, you are not alone in feeling that way. It's a really common frustration.
Well, there's actually a name for that feeling. We call it the wandering trap. It's that experience of your eyes moving across the text, but you're completely missing the heartbeat of the author behind it all. You end up reading your own thoughts and distractions into the text, instead of drawing out the voice that's already there.
But, and this is the good news, there is a way out of that trap. It's a path, a systematic guide for slowing down, looking closer, and unlocking the depth that's been waiting for you all along. We call it the inductive path.
So what is this inductive Bible study anyway? Honestly, the core idea is simple, but it is absolutely profound. Instead of starting with what we think a passage means and trying to make it fit, this method forces us to start with the text itself with zero assumptions. We start small with the specific details, and we let them build up to the big, reliable conclusions.
The whole system is built around this amazing three-phase discovery loop. It's super powerful. First, we have observation, where we're just asking, what does the text say? Plain and simple. Then comes interpretation, where we ask, what did it mean to the people who first read it? And finally, we get to application, where the question becomes personal. How does this change me? This little three-step loop is our roadmap to make sure we don't just read the Bible, but we actually get it and then live it.
All right, let's dive into phase 1, the sacred search. For this step, I want you to put on your detective hat. Seriously, your one and only job right now is to gather clues from the text. We are not, I repeat, not looking for the meaning yet. We are just collecting the facts.
So the only question you're allowed to ask in this phase is, what does the text actually say? We have to fight that urge to jump ahead, to figure out the big lesson. Right now, it's all about gathering the raw data, just the hard facts that are right there in the passage.
So what kinds of clues are we looking for? Well, here's your checklist. You're going to look for repeated words or ideas, like maybe the word judgment keeps popping up. You're going to hunt for words like therefore or because that show you the author's logic. You'll spot comparisons and contrasts, and you'll pay super close attention to the little things, like verbs and pronouns. The real trick here is to read the same passage a few times, each time looking for a different kind of clue.
And a good detective always takes notes. You could use a highlighting system, maybe blue for God's name, green for commands. You can even use little symbols like a triangle for the Trinity. The whole point is to make the patterns and details literally jump off the page. A simple notebook is going to be your best friend here, for sure.
Okay, so once our detective work is done and our notebook is full of clues, we shift gears. We move to phase 2, the original echo. And for this part, we become time travelers. We have to go back in time and try to hear the text the exact same way its very first audience heard it.
So our new guiding question becomes, what did this mean to its first audience? This step is so critical. It's the filter for everything. Because, listen, if we miss what the text meant back then, we will almost certainly misapply it now. Understanding the original meaning isn't just a nice idea. It's the foundation for everything that follows.
And this slide right here shows you the danger perfectly. Without that historical context, it's so easy to just slap our modern ideas onto an ancient text, completely detaching it from what the author was trying to say. But when we anchor ourselves in their world, their culture, that's when we can uncover the true intended meaning.
Part of understanding that context is realizing the Bible isn't just one book, it's a whole library full of different kinds of writing, different genres. And as you can see here, you just don't read a historical narrative the same way you read a poem or a personal letter. Recognizing the genre is a huge key to interpreting the language correctly and getting what it was meant to say. And that brings us to the final and, honestly, the most personal phase, the living response. This is the moment we've been building up to, where all our detective work and our time traveling pays off. This is the moment where the ink on the page becomes life in our hearts.
So after all that work of uncovering a timeless, universal truth in step 2, we now ask the ultimate question. How does this change me, right here, right now, today? This step is the bridge between that ancient world and your modern life. This is what makes the text intensely personal. And let's be crystal clear about the goal here. This whole process isn't about winning a Bible trivia night. The goal is transformation.
Because knowledge without transformation, it's just information. The truth we dig up is meant to fundamentally reshape us from the inside out.
So how do we actually find that transformation? We look for our holy action. This checklist is a super practical guide. Does this truth point out a sin I need to confess, or maybe an attitude I need to change? Is there a promise for me to grab onto, or a command I need to obey? The idea is to find that one specific, actionable response that the text is asking of you today.
Now, like any new adventure, you're going to need the right gear. But don't worry, the toolkit for this journey is actually refreshingly simple. Anyone can get it.
Okay, here are the absolute essentials. First, you need a faithful translation of the Bible. Second, you need a humble, teachable heart, which, always starts with prayer. And third, you need a focused mind, which is why that simple notebook and pen are so important. That's it. That is literally all you need to get started.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's right here. The Bible isn't a book you're supposed to finish. It's a world you're supposed to live in. And now you have the guide, that 3-step inductive path. So grab it, let's go deep.